Deshaun here, Sports Unfiltered, a post-championship announcement day, and boy, oh boy, I got a lot to say about this. First and foremost, Ohio State, I'm going to tackle them a bit, but how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go over each region, give them a couple minutes, break down what I'm thinking off the top of my head. Of course, tune in Wednesday night. Tune in Wednesday night. I'm literally blowing out the whole segments. All three segments are going to be on your NCAA March Madness teams because we want to get you ready for the tourney. All right. I'm looking at the Midwest, and in the Midwest we have Kentucky. Kentucky will be playing in Louisville, home field advantage against either Manhattan or Hampton. Right off the bat, I gotta say this. They also have to play Cincinnati and Purdue. Whoever wins those games to get a shot into the Sweet 16. I feel that Kentucky will be in the Sweet 16. Kentucky. Then once you get into that, you have to go against Maryland and Valparaiso and all that stuff. They got at least a shot at the Elite Eight. Just saying. I feel that they got a very good shot at least the Elite Eight, Final Four. And once you start breaking it down, looking at the other half of the bracket in the Midwest, I have no reason not to think Kentucky is going to go all the way to at least the Final Four, if not the title. But Sean, what about every team has a chance to win or this? Kentucky is so good right now, and how they are performing is I've never seen a team perform that way before in my lifetime. So I got to also believe that Kentucky is a tough team to handle. Now I'm looking at the teams that they have to go against. I don't see a team that jumps out and says, beatable. We can beat Kentucky. Kansas, maybe. But remember, Kansas didn't even win their conference tourney. The team that won their conference tourney was Iowa State. They don't face Iowa State. I'm looking at Texas. Texas is a little rough. Butler. Maryland. Maryland got beat by Ohio State. That tells you a lot of how good Maryland is. Of course, Maryland is a tough team. Maryland is a good team, but I don't see Maryland as the scary team in the house. Alright, now moving to the East. This is where it starts getting interesting, kids. Villanova, number 1 seed out of there. They face Lafayette. Northern Iowa, Wyoming. Louisville plays UC Irvine. Oh, wait, I did glance over something here. The games out the Midwest will be, we will be hosting the 5-4 matchups here. So pretty much your 5-12 will be West Virginia, Buffalo. Then we'll have the 4-13 game, Maryland versus Valparaiso. That's going to be over at Nationwide Arena. Time yet to be determined, but that will be determined later on. So by the time we got Wednesday, you'll know the schedule. Then we go to the East. I like Villanova. Villanova deserves a number 1 seed. Villanova, very, very good team, very, very strong team. I think they will be very, very good here. So, NC State, LSU, Northern Iowa, Wyoming, then Louisville, the UC Irvine. That matchup, right, those, looking at it pod by pod, I gotta say the East is a little tough. Be careful, UNC State. NC State is a tough little monster, and they're going to do some damage there. So I think NC State, LSU, very tough matchup there. Going to be something to be watching there as well. They just came out with the odds, and I'm looking at this on ESPN. They're saying Kentucky is a 10-11 odd, Duke 7-1, Arizona 12-1, Villanova 15-1, Notre Dame 20-1, Gonzaga 25-1, North Carolina 30-1. So they have Kentucky as a heavy favorite. And looking at their table, I gotta agree with them as well. We will host an Eastern Conference game. We will host an Eastern game, and this one is kind of interesting. Here's why it's interesting to me. Dayton. Here's why that is so interesting to me. Dayton is hosting the battle for the 11th seed. They're 11A, they're 11B against Boise. Winner will be the 11th seed going against Boise State. So they gotta face Providence. Providence, they can win against Providence. Boise State is a tough team as well. Boise State, you have every reason to feel like you've been hosed here. Boise got hosed here pretty badly because they have to play Dayton at Dayton for a shot for Dayton to play in Columbus. That's the situation. Dayton has to play for a shot to play in Columbus. So Dayton feels like they got hosed because they got if you're Dayton, you didn't get hosed. You got propped. You got propped big time. They really heavily are saying, Boise, you have no business in there. We're putting you against a very strong Dayton Flyers team. That's going to be your second pod of games. Providence Boise State game, Dayton game. Whoever wins that game in Dayton will go to Columbus. Then you have Oklahoma versus Albany. That's going to be a very interesting game as well. That's also going to be in Columbus. Then you got Michigan State, Georgia, Virginia, Belmont. I'm feeling that Michigan State could be the one out of there. I'm going to rant about this a little bit. I'm going to rant about this more on the show coming up on Wednesday. Duke has no business as a number one seed. And I know people are going to, I know I got a boy, my boy, Ralph Phillips said, Duke should be your number one seed. How the hell should Duke be a number one seed? Duke was beaten by Notre Dame. Notre Dame, who really, I'm going to be honest with you, don't get a lot of respect at number 3. They beat North Carolina. They beat Duke. You tell me that they do not deserve a number one seed? Oh, but they beat them twice in a season. You tell me if that team should have had a higher seed. Notre Dame should have had a higher seed. Kansas kind of a lower seed, but I'll let it live. The team that got a second, that is the number 2 seed in that division, is Gonzaga. Gonzaga had a better record overall than Duke, and I would put Gonzaga as the number 1 seed, then Duke the number 2 seed. But, oh well, that's life. But I'm not happy about it. I do think after this number, Duke don't have the strength, and I'm a little hesitant to put them as my number 1 seed. So, point blank, that's the God's honest truth. I would not put them as my number 1 seed. I will not do that at all. I just do not feel that strongly about Duke. I think Duke has a very bad habit of choking it up when it matters. Duke has shown me time and time again that when they're good, they're good. When they're hot, they're hot. When you have that feeling that they're not going to be that good, you need to go and feel it. You need to understand and feel it and do what you need to do to help yourself win. All right. As I did my rant on the South, let's go a little deeper into the Ohio State matchup. Ohio State has a tough road, tough sledding here. Here's their setup. They will play in Portland. They get VCU versus Ohio State. VCU, Shaka Smart's team, very strong teams. Shaka Smart puts into the title game, and that's something I want to point out. Shaka Smart puts out very strong teams year in, year out. Ohio State's going to have a tough time. So, let's say Ohio State escapes. Who do they play? They play Arizona. They play either Arizona or Northern Iowa. Or no, Texas Southern. My bad. They play either Arizona or Texas Southern. Arizona, I saw them in the tournament. They won their conference. They won their division. Also, another team that I think should have been the number one seed over Duke, by the way. Uh, they get in, and they will be talking as they are doing right now. They'll be in the conversation against a very tough. They will either get Ohio State, who is very tough to play against, very rookie team that can Ohio State when good can be good, and when they bad, they can be bad. Things can be bad. So Ohio State, you get that 10th seed, they get the 15th seed. Then they have to go to the West. That will put them in the Sweet 16. Who they face? You have to look at Xavier. You have to look at Baylor. You have to look at Georgia State. Georgia State, even though they played a low-scoring game, it was mainly because of their defense. Ohio State has, by far, the toughest road in the tournament. Here's their high. They're just showing their highest seed potential. So I'm flipping back and forth between Ohio State. I'm flipping this back and forth to Kentucky. I'm looking at the list of their highest possible seeds they can get. Wisconsin in the Final Four is going to be tough, or they get either Duke or Villanova, which I'm not feeling Villanova. I'm not feeling Duke, and Villanova, as good as they are, I'm not feeling them. It's going to be a tough matchup looking at these teams. So we're going to talk about that on the show Wednesday. Whole conversation Wednesday, all tournament talk. Yeah, I know we have other sports, but we will update you on the Ohio Road Girls. That's going to be on the show this Wednesday. Also, update you on the crew. That's going to be on the show this Wednesday, usually first segment. We're going to try to get that out of the way in the first 10 minutes because there's a lot of time I want to give to the NCAA tournament because a lot of y'all, even y'all non-sports watchers, are wondering, well, who do I pick? Okay, before I leave, I want to give you these few facts here. Very quickly, move all your number one seeds forward. If you have a bracket and you're doing it at work, move all your number one seeds forward. In the history of the NCAA tournament, a number one seed has never lost to a number 16 seed. It never happened. I'm looking at the bracket this year. I don't see that happening at all. It's going to be a very interesting matchup overall for that. So there you go. I don't see the Ospreys. The Ospreys actually get a little bit of respect here. They get some respect, not too much respect, but they at least, the Ospreys will get to play on. Yep, they will play against either Duke, and they have the highest chance to beat Duke at 5.6%. But that's all you need to know. Move all your number one seeds forward. Remember, think of that 12-5. That 12-5 will always help you. Plus, remember that 8-9 is a pick'em game. So there you go. Maybe that doesn't seem like, oh, that doesn't sound like tough. The brackets usually do good because I remember these rules. Remember, I have one 12-5 upset, have one 13-4 upset. So that can happen as well. 7-10 upsets? Could Ohio State be this year the 7-10 upset? I don't think so. They got to perform well for me to believe that. I just don't think Ohio State has the skill. I don't think they have the gutness to do it. Maybe they can be the 7-10 upset this year. I don't know. But want to remind you, full show this Wednesday, NCAA tournament, everything. We're going to go hard on it. We got all that stuff. Also, in that next week, I'm going to try to get the guys from Street Fight into the show. We're going to blast it out and do some after we talk the NCAA tournament and all that stuff, WrestleMania week. We are going to do a full wrestling show. So wrestling fans, I got you. I got you covered. We're going to do a wrestling show. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Those are two shows I do have planned coming up. Whole lot more coming up. I want to thank y'all for listening in and at least hanging with me for this 15-minute video. Jesus freaking Christ. What the hell do I have to talk about 15 minutes? But I did it. 15-minute video. Thank you for hanging with me this long. When we come back next week, I got you covered for all of your tourney stuff right here. Sports Unfiltered, WCRS 102.1, 98.3 FM, your community radio station. Tune us in Wednesday at 9. We'll see you then.